Hello, people of YouTube. My name is Steve Gray, and today we are going to be talking about whether or not the PS3, that is right, the PS3 that came out in 2006 is still relevant today in 2019. So before I get started, please remember to subscribe if you like this video, leave a comment, like, and turn on that notification bell so you know when I make new videos. So this guy right here, PS3, old DualShock controller. So it came out in 2006 as the Fat Boy version. There was several different variants. There was a 60 gigabyte version, an 8 gigabyte version, a 20 gigabyte version, and a 40 gigabyte version. The 60 gigabyte version, I believe, didn't come out until the second release of the, second generation, I guess you would call it, of the console. So, just the controller-wise, if you're looking to buy a controller, anyway, make sure it says 6-axis and DualShock 3 on it, because if it just says 6-axis, you are not going to get the vibrations and the heftiness of the controller. When I got my original Fat Boy PS3, as they call it, with the 4 USB ports in it and the SD card reader built into it, it came with an original 6-axis controller. At that point, they got rid of the DualShock 2 controller. There was no vibrations in it. The 6, you could do stuff, you could move the controller for certain aspects in a few games. I think motocross or something, there was some racing game you could do it with, but that was kind of more of a gimmicky thing. And eventually they did just threw the DualShock 3 back in there, so you had the vibrations and the weight behind the controller again. So why would you buy a PS3 in 2019? Well, for starters, there are a crap ton of different versions of it. If you like playing classic games, backwards compatibility might be a big reason, possibly. Cheap Blu-ray player, and you can get the games for cheap, a lot cheaper than a new system as well. And also, at the moment, the online servers are still running, so if you want to play your Call of Duty, your Battlefield, etc., you can go online, play zombies, etc., with people that have not bought a PS4 yet, or just prefer the PS3 at this time, and are rating, or I guess they call them gen skippers, because that's kind of what I am. I'm a gen skipper. I buy a generation and then I skip, wait until 2 generations later, and then buy that one. So game-wise, there is a freaking huge selection of games, and if you have a original one, if you can hunt down an original Fat Boy PS3, either the 80 gig or the 60 gig model, because those are the only two that are backwards compatible with PS2 games. They have 4 USB ports and memory card readers built into them. That's how you know that it is a backwards compatible one. The thing to look in for them is they are going to be huge and bulky, so just keep that in mind. I have noticed that with when I originally had my Fat Boy before I got the Yellow Light of Death, which I will go into in a minute, it could not play certain games. It would not play Twisted Metal. I don't know why. It didn't have a quote-unquote updated Blu-ray drive. It would play every other game fine. But I think it was just getting to the point where there were certain games that they were coded in a certain way where the old original PS3 just would not play them. So to keep that in mind. If you do get a Fat Boy, yes, you will get backwards compatibility, but it is possible that there's a handful of games you will not be able to play. Also, going into the backwards compatibility, all the models, I believe, except the newest one, the Super Slim, which has like a sliding door type deal, can play PS1 games as well as PS3 games. They can't all play PS2 games. Only the Fat can do that, but they all can play the PS1 games. Controller-wise, you can usually find them for pretty much $10 to $15. Used anyway. New, you're still probably pushing the $30 to $40 mark if you can even find them new anymore. Games price anywhere from $5. Some of the rare ones, if you get some sort of fancy limited edition, which they are out there. If you want to get a limited edition God of War 3 or Killzone 3, something like that, you can definitely go find those limited editions, used or new, but they are going to cost you a pretty penny. Game-wise, what are really good games on it? So you got BioShock, you got PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, which is basically a Super Smash Brothers for the PS3, which I'm hoping at some point they do create for the PS4. You got Metal Gear, and then you got all of the remastered games, which I love. You got Jak and Daxter, you got Ratchet and Clank, you got Sly Cooper, you got Tomb Raider. Basically, it's like 3 games in one. You got Shadow of the Colossus, and I think it comes with some other game as well. But there is just, Assassin's Creed 2, obviously. there is a huge arsenal of games out there, and you can pretty much get them for dirt cheap. Not too long ago, I bought the first 5 Assassin's Creed games, and I think I got them for about $10 a piece. I got the whole bundle for like $50, which you can even buy a brand new game right now for $50. So, as I said, saves you a good amount of money, is a good Blu-ray player. You can hack it too. A lot of people like hacking them, and basically that allows you to have any game you want on them. The only downside to hacking the PS3 is you will not be able to play online, I believe. Going back to the yellow light of death thing, if you are semi-tech savvy or know someone that is, if you are buying pretty much a used any PS3, there's going to be a warranty sticker on it. Make sure that has not been touched. Because if that's been touched, that means someone's been in the console. You don't know how they messed with it or not. It's better if you mess with it yourself personally than somebody else does, because you don't know what they did to it. Basically, on the CPU and the GPU, especially on the fat boys, it can happen on the newer models as well, so keep that in mind. They did not put a good quality thermal paste on it. So what you have to do pretty much when you get it, because it's been out for so long, especially the ones that came out in 2006. They're pushing 13 years, I believe, with that bad boy. You have to open them up. Basically, you peel that sticker off. There's a little screwdriver, security screw in there. You take the PS3 apart. You got to pretty much rip the entire thing apart, all the components off, and then replace the thermal paste on it. I did that with my Fatboy PS3 after it got the yellow light of death, which I didn't realize that was a thing, unfortunately. When I bought it, I think I only had it for 5 or 6 years. It was already void of warranty anyway, so I figured try to take it apart and fixed it. And I did get it to work, though, because I bought a slim model, because you got the Fat Boy, you got the Fat Boy that's not backwards compatible, you got the slim, and you got the super slim. So basically, you got 4 different models of the PS3. Your best bet is going with the Fat Boy for the backwards compatibility, the original Fat Boy, or the original Slim, because it is a lot smaller as well. The Super Slim I do not like. It has a stupid sliding door thing. They break a lot easier, so I would definitely recommend to stay away from the Super Slim if you could. So as I said, when you first get it, providing it still works, friggin' open that bad boy up, replace the paste inside of it. The thermal paste is what it's called, with some Arctic Silver 5 is kind of the go-to standard. And then you'll probably be good to go for another 10 years without having to open that thing up. And you have to do that with pretty much every single model. Not sure about the Super Slim, because that hasn't really been out long enough for it to have problems, minus people dropping it and breaking it, which I have seen. One drop pretty much kills that thing. But I did, when I bought the Slim, used, I did go ahead and take it apart, put the new thermal paste on it, and I'll be good to go for a while. Do I want to buy a PS4, or should you buy a PS4? At this point, I would just wait, because you know the PS5 is going to be coming out within the next year or two, so you might as well just wait. Spend $100 on a used PS3. You can probably get it with 10, 15 games, a couple controllers, and you'll be good to go. The only downside with the PS3 is inevitably they are going to shut down the servers probably within the next year or two altogether. So anything that was online, because it is a big online console, you won't be able to do online. But there is a lot of kind of first-person games that you can play that do not have to be online. So that's pretty much it. If you want to buy a PS3, go ahead, go find yourself a nice used one. You're not going to find a new one. If you do find a new one, it's going to be a lot of money, because at this point they're kind of becoming collector's edition type deal, you know. The new ones are getting sold to collectors for several $100s, even up to the $500-600 range, depending on what it is, especially the Fat Boys and that fancy limited edition Japanese Final Fantasy one. If you find one of those for cheap, buy that thing in a heartbeat. But yet again, my name is Steve Gray. Have a good one.